Imagine coming home after a long day, craving a comforting meal that warms your soul and fills your kitchen with rich, savory aromas. Tonight, you can make that dream a reality with an oven pot roast that's not only delicious, but delightfully simple to prepare. Whether you're a seasoned home cook or just starting out, this classic dish is sure to become a favorite in your household. Let's start with the basics, the roast itself. Choose a well-marbled cut of beef, such as chuck roast, which is known for its tenderness and flavor after slow roasting. The marbling, the thin streaks of fat within the meat, will melt as it cooks, infusing the roast with juicy, mouth-watering taste. If you're shopping at the store, look for a roast that's about 3 to 4 pounds. This size is perfect for feeding a family or providing leftovers for the next day. Before you even turn on the oven, set the roast out on the counter for about 30 minutes. Allowing the meat to come to room temperature ensures it cooks evenly. While it rests, gather your vegetables. Traditional pot roast calls for hearty root vegetables like carrots, potatoes, and onions. Peel and cut the carrots into thick chunks, quarter several potatoes, and slice up a couple of onions. These will serve as both a flavorful base and a satisfying side. Now, it's time to build the flavor. Preheat your oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, a low and slow temperature that will transform the meat into fork-tender perfection. Sprinkle the roast generously with salt and pepper. Don't be shy. Seasoning is key to bringing out the natural flavors. Some cooks like to add a bit of garlic powder, paprika, or dried thyme for extra depth. Heat a large oven-safe pot or Dutch oven over medium-high heat on the stove. Add a splash of oil, vegetable or canola oil works well, and let it shimmer. Carefully place the roast in the pot. You should hear an immediate sizzle, the sign of a good sear. Brown the roast on all sides, about 4 to 5 minutes per side, turning with tongs. This step is essential, as it creates a rich, caramelized crust that locks in juices and adds complexity to the finished dish. Once the roast is beautifully browned, remove it from the pot and set it aside. In the same pot, add the onions. As they cook, they'll pick up the browned bits left behind by the meat, known as fond. This is culinary gold, bursting with flavor. After a few minutes, toss in the carrots and let them brown slightly. Finally, return the roast to the pot, nestling it among the vegetables. To ensure a moist, flavorful roast, you'll need some liquid. Pour in about 2 cups of beef broth, enough to come halfway up the sides of the roast. For added richness, some cooks like to add a splash of red wine or a tablespoon of tomato paste, but this step is optional. Toss in a couple of bay leaves and a few sprigs of fresh thyme or rosemary if you have them. These herbs will infuse the roast with their aromatic notes as it cooks. Cover the pot with a tight-fitting lid or a layer of foil. Place the pot in the preheated oven and let the magic happen. For the next 3 hours, the roast will slowly transform, becoming tender enough to pull apart with a fork. Every hour or so, check to ensure there's still enough liquid in the pot. If it's running low, top it off with a bit more broth or water. About an hour before the roast is finished, add the potatoes to the pot. This timing ensures they'll be perfectly cooked, soft, but not falling apart by the time the meat is ready. If you prefer, you can also add other vegetables like parsnips, turnips, or celery for variety and extra nutrition. As the roast nears completion, your kitchen will fill with the irresistible scent of slow-cooked beef and herbs. It's the kind of aroma that reminds us of family dinners and special occasions, even if it's just an ordinary weeknight. When the timer goes off, carefully remove the pot from the oven. Let the roast rest for 10 to 15 minutes before serving. This brief wait allows the juices to redistribute, ensuring every bite is moist and flavorful. To serve, lift the roast onto a cutting board and slice it against the grain for maximum tenderness. Arrange the vegetables around the meat on a platter and spoon some of the rich, savory cooking liquid over the top. If you'd like, you can thicken this liquid into a gravy. Simply remove the meat and vegetables, skim off any excess fat, and bring the remaining liquid to a simmer on the stovetop. Whisk in a slurry of flour and water, stirring until the gravy reaches your desired thickness. This oven pot roast is more than just a meal, it's an experience. The beef is melt-in-your-mouth tender, infused with the flavors of garlic, herbs, and caramelized onions. The vegetables are perfectly cooked, absorbing the essence of the roast. Each bite is a comforting mix of savory, hearty, and satisfying, perfect for gathering friends and family around the table. One of the best things about this dish is its versatility. You can customize it to suit your tastes or whatever you have on hand. Swap out the carrots for sweet potatoes, add mushrooms for earthiness, or toss in a handful of pearl onions for a subtle sweetness. The basic technique remains the same, making this recipe endlessly adaptable. Leftovers, if you have any, are just as delicious the next day. Shred the leftover meat and use it in sandwiches, tacos, or stir it into a hearty vegetable soup. The possibilities are endless, and the flavors only improve with time. There's something deeply satisfying about preparing a meal like oven pot roast. It's not fast food, it's slow food, nourishing, thoughtful, and made with care. Yet, with just a few simple steps, it can fit into even the busiest schedule. Most of the cooking time is hands-off, freeing you up to relax, tackle chores, or spend time with your loved ones while the oven does the work. If you want to elevate your pot roast even further, consider adding your own twist. A splash of balsamic vinegar can add depth and a hint of sweetness. A spoonful of Dijon mustard can provide a gentle tang. Experiment with different herbs and spices to make the dish your own. No matter how you personalize it, oven pot roast is a classic for a reason. It's a dish that brings people together, encourages conversation, and creates memories. Tonight, as you sit down to enjoy this meal, take a moment to savor not just the flavors, but the experience itself, the warmth of the kitchen, the comfort of good food, and the joy of sharing it with those you love. So, don't be intimidated by the idea of making a pot roast from scratch. With just a little preparation and a few hours in the oven, you'll have a meal that's as impressive as it is easy. Whether you're cooking for a special occasion or simply treating yourself to a cozy night in, this oven pot roast is guaranteed to satisfy. Gather your ingredients, preheat your oven, and get ready to enjoy one of the most comforting dinners you'll ever make. Tonight, you're not just serving a meal, you're creating a memory.